Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Scorpio. Tonight we have the Ace of Cups, and I'm all about it. I love it. You know that this is a card of renewal. We know this is a card of love and emotional depth and, really clearing out old things, letting the waters flow, right? If you can imagine, like a river when there's a lot of rain, okay? And, it's a lot of rain. It's almost like it's flooding, basically. And so much debris gets swept away into the river, and then suddenly it's starting to, clog up and when the river kind of comes together, right? It's a little bit more narrow, and it's all clogged up with stuff, a kind of a accidental dam, right? And what happens? More and more stuff keeps piling up, and the water is having a tough time flowing through. And so, it's either going to clear itself or somebody's going to have to get in there and fix it. Now, if this is in our story, the river is somewhere near where humans are, right? Where it is accessible. And so you get down in there, you clean it out, and then the water is flowing full force once again, okay? And that's kind of the vibe of the Ace of Cups, right? There is a strong current. It feels very fresh and renewed, and yet as if it has been flowing for a million years. There's a sense of longevity, of it leaving its mark. If you've ever seen, anywhere in, I guess, the like southwest of America, even up into like Utah, and really most places, right? At least in the United States. I don't know about anywhere else, but a lot of places, especially out west, there are a lot of evidence left, or there is a lot of evidence left of oceans, right? Back in the long ago, when, a lot of the earth was underwater. Most of the land was underwater. And you can see where the water has like carved in, and really, it's very beautiful in places, especially like New Mexico, parts of Arizona. The high desert is ridiculously gorgeous. But this is the energy, right? This is the water. This is the flow. It is carving, and it feels ancient. Yet at the same time, it is fresh and new, and what we would call the sweet waters, right? And these are waters that are drinkable. These are waters that are suitable to sustain life, right? And so let's go ahead. We're going to spin this thing here. And I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me and choosing to click on the reading. I know a lot of you have never seen a tea leaf reading before, or just have never had one. So I feel very honored to be able to do this reading for you. And if you are returning, welcome back. It's lovely to see you again. Okay, so let's get started. First, we have this face right here. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth is kind of frowny looking. Maybe not the happiest. Maybe not a sense of happiness in this moment with this person, okay? It feels like this is a big deal. You can see the size of it, right? It seems pretty large. Now, I'm looking over here, and this immediately reminded me of, and I think it's a daiquiri cup. I don't know exactly what they're called. I never got into drinking like mixed drinks, so I'm like totally, I have no idea. I was a Jameson gal, and now now a recovery gal. But yeah, like it reminds me of kind of like one of these, like, I can't even think of the names of them, like a daiquiri, I guess. And so what this really kind of, I'm not going to say that this is like a bad, you know, a bad thing. Because, and I'll say, because the sad face and the adult beverage next to it, I think this is more like I need a vacation. I need to go be on a beach somewhere for a few days because things have felt really overwhelming the last 6 months or so. It's been a lot of shifting, a lot of trying to get something going and staying the course and having all kinds of different circumstances which are out of your control, most likely, right? A lot of circumstances here showing up and kind of derailing some of that momentum that you had. So I feel like this is a place where you're starting to realize, I need a break. I need to do something else for a little bit. I need like a reset, just like we were talking with the Ace of Cups. We need to do something to get out of this kind of just overstimulation. That's how I perceive it. Is this feeling of just too much going on. So we have the number, it looks like 1, 2, so 12 right there. And then next to it we have T-O-M. T-O-M. And if it's on this side, it looks like it says Wooly. W-O-L-L-Y. Wooly. But we have Tom. 12 and Tom. We also have a cat. You can see right there. Look at that little face. How cute. We also have a comment. A flying, like a meteor. Comet. I don't know the difference between the two, honestly. I'm gonna be real with you. I love sitting out and watching the sky. And that being said, please, if you are a praying person, and I know this is a frivolous prayer, but it is important to me, say a little, or send a little good energy my way, that I find a telescope at a garage sale this summer. Okay? I am fully on frugal mode all summer long. I've promised myself that if I buy anything, it's gonna be secondhand, which is how I've lived most of my life, right? I maybe splurged a little bit in the last, year or two, but I need to just get right back to, I grew up on secondhand, recycled, whatever you want to call, going to thrift stores, going to flea markets, then buying vintage clothes and that kind of thing. And so, yes, I'm putting it out there into the universe. Please let me find a telescope. I want to go show my daughter some of the stars. Although, listen, where I live, you can see them pretty clearly anyways. But, yeah, I need to find a telescope. Let's see. So we also have L-E-M and the cat. I'm guessing not the writer. The Polish he wrote Solaris, right? Which is funny because I was talking about this author not that long ago with somebody, so pretty cute. But it could also be like, I don't know, what, like Lim? I don't know. Maybe you do know somebody named Lim or Limmy or you know, something like that. We also have that cat face. So the cat represents a real sense of like individuality, being very self-sufficient, not really liking people getting too involved or too familiar. You kind of just do your own thing, right? And I love that. I love people like that. I wish that every day, I think, I just need to be a little bit more, you know, independent, a little bit more of an individual. I care what people think. I wish that I didn't, but I do. And that's something I'm working on. I've been doing some real deep, intentional shadow work. And if you've done some shadow work, I would love to hear about your experience with it. If you want to comment or send me an email at ulaishere@gmail.com. I'm actually kind of compiling some prompts. So I'd love to hear what you were working with if you have done this kind of work before. So we also have the number 682. Okay, and we have a person here who has a really cool hat, which is also the number 2, and they have their arm up and they're holding a child here. Now behind them, we also have a dog who looks like it is barking, okay? And over here, it looks like we have a person who, actually no. Well, it kind of does look like a person laying down. We also have a bird on the person, and it looks like somebody else is about to walk over top of them. So I feel like what we're seeing here, it looks like it reminds me of like a gnome with the hat. So to me, it really screams like finding balance, but also being unashamedly open about your wants and needs within your relationship dynamics. And I feel like you are probably somebody who is maybe a little bit, in some contexts, not always, maybe a little bit more of a leader. You might be somebody who people kind of bend to your will a little bit. Like, for instance, I mean, I have a 4-year-old daughter, right? And she is the big boss. Don't tell her I said that. She'll never stop saying it. But really, you know, so much of my home and my life is set up for her, you know, and how we keep the temperature and the lighting and, you know, all these kinds of things. Kind of, yeah, we bend to the will or the best possible atmosphere, you know, for her. And I mean, she's, you know, I'm not going to say she's like spoiled. She is a little spoiled. But I want her to be, okay? I want her to know, you know, what it is to want to get what you want to get, you know, and what you like and all this kind of thing. But she's also like developed this wonderful understanding of, you know, just her, like, I can do whatever, like, not whatever, no, I can do what even feels like it's gonna be too hard, right? I feel like she's always been given the encouragement and, you know, hopefully like the tools and you know, the time and attention to be able to either help us do something or figure things out, and we kind of assist her. And you know, I feel like for you, Scorpio, you're very much like this. Like, you're kind of the little, like, queen or king or emperor, empress of your life. And I think that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Not for you know, men or women, although, you know, I'm a woman, and from my perspective, I love to see a difficult woman. I love to see, what domineering woman. I love to see a woman that's about her business. I love to see a woman that's just going to say what she's going to say. And you know what? Hopefully somebody's listening, right? Hopefully, you know, it's being taken in by whomever needs to hear it. So I feel like, you know, for you, there have been times where you've maybe tried to make yourself smaller, more agreeable, somebody that, you know, doesn't have a lot of conflict in your life. And I'm not saying you're naturally prone to conflict, but I also think you don't just sit around and keep your mouth shut, right? So I do kind of see this almost similar to the motif of Callie standing upon her consort, her partner, her animus, right? Shiva. And I feel like there is somebody in your life, probably your spouse or a significant other, who really appreciates your ability to, you know what you want, and you're gonna get it, and you're gonna figure out how, you know, if you can't like directly just do the thing, you're gonna do the hard work to figure out how to obtain the things that you want in life. That includes material things, of course, but also, you know, your wellness, your connection to other people, to spirit, to the divine, you know, so on and so forth. So I see you really allowing yourself and I want to repeat this so many, like over and over and over again, very intentionally allowing yourself to be somebody that maybe isn't always agreeable, maybe isn't always super well-mannered or docile or, you know, a pushover or whatever. And I think that's pretty awesome, because I feel like when you take the reins and you allow yourself to be the many things that you are, right? There's a real sense of relief there. There's a real sense of letting go of, you know, should I, shouldn't I, what are they going to think, what's going to happen if they don't like this, you know, this oppressive feeling, letting it go. Now, over here, I feel like I see it very much is like this magi, world creator energy and holding the child, right? And so I feel like for you, probably one of the most important things in life has been your family. In fact, I think the only important thing, when it comes down to it, has been your family. And I believe that maybe at times you have veered off course. And you've gotten away from what is important. But I see you. I see you rising. I see you doing the work. And I see you realizing that maybe you've gotten a little away from why you're here. And that's okay. We all do it. That's life. And you'll do it again probably, you know? And so will I, and so will the next guy, and so on, right? So don't doom it. Don't feel bad. Don't feel guilt, please. Don't feel shameful. Don't fret. Don't think, oh my gosh, it's been, 8 years since I went to church, or, you know, since I got to see my spiritual family, or I was going to different rituals, or, you know, I was practicing and meditating and keeping altars at my house, or whatever it is, you know, even if it's been decades, maybe you've never done it. Maybe you've never known how to get started. Well, today is the day. Today's the day. You are headed back, and it's not really back. It's actually through. You're headed through, you know, the thing. You're headed right into the heart of it. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful moment to really embrace. Now, with the Ace of Cups, I want to mention that there's a real feeling of crying, okay? Now, I'm looking at this real quick. So we'll get over to this in just a second. There's a real feeling of needing to release some built up energies, emotions. Okay. Now, maybe you're somebody who cries often. I cry probably every other day or so. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But I do. I'm a crier. I cry if, like, I don't even know. What did I cry about? Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. I'll get so upset. Yesterday, I just had a full meltdown. And I don't use that word lightly. I am neurodivergent and in multiple ways. And, you know, when I get into these like spirals of, it's hard. It's bad. It can get bad. And I had to like pull myself out of it, and it was fine after a while, but, I do cry often. I'm a crier, but you know, there are people, I know lots of people. I'm like a weirdo. I ask people, do you cry? How often do you cry? Just, I want to gauge, like, how much do you indulge yourself? And, you know, and a lot of people don't cry at all. I mean, you know, there are people that almost never cry. For instance, I think my husband, I have rarely ever seen him cry. He's a very emotional person. He's just not really a big crier. And shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's wonderful. Go check him out. But I do feel like this is like almost like the universe drawing it out of you, right? Putting you in situations or having moments where you are starting to, like, your mind's wandering, you start thinking about things, and suddenly you're crying, right? And so I feel like if you have the opportunity to do some deep crying, some even like sobbing, let it rip, let it go, let it out, let it out, let it out, and repeat as many times as you need to. Now, I'm not saying spend your whole life crying, okay? But, you know, at times we need to let out some of that pressure. Now, over here, I feel like we're having an issue with the house or the neighborhood or something. We have the frog, we have the house right here. The frog represents the watcher to me. They oversee the doors and windows of the house. I have this whole idea. I'm really into household gods and spirits. And I'm really all about what I call backyard spirits. And these are like the animals and bugs and plants and minerals and waters and all the stuff, right? And all of the intelligences that, you know, kind of come together into this beautiful environment, this ecosystem. And we're part of that, right? And even the home that we live in, the structure is part of that. And so the toad, the frog, always represent to me this, they oversee the doorways, right? But when I see it in here, it tells me you need to go around your house and check your windows, make sure that they're not left open or unlocked or broken, or, you know, anything is going on that you didn't know about. Also checking the doors, going out, go walk around the garage, you know, just to see what's going on out there, just to make sure everything's cool. Okay, I'm not saying anything's bad. So when I see that, it tells me, yeah, this is about the house. This is the frog, the watcher. And it's just like, you know, it's time to do your little perimeter search. And the other part of this is I feel like you have a spiritual visitor that will arrive with the pollinators. So if you have, you know, wasps or bees, or the many kinds of bees, or the many kinds of flies and sweat flies, and I mean, there's so many, even ants are kind of I mean, I think they're technically pollinators. You know, there's so many guys come in, gals and guys come in and what's the pollinating? That's the word. And so when you start to notice them, and you will, know that spirit or a spirit is coming in with it. I feel like it's somebody important. I keep getting the name Jill the last couple of days. I feel like there's somebody named Jill in your life who's trying to get a hold of you, or something similar to Jill or Jillian or Lillian or Lil, or something in that realm. Okay. Now let's do our lucky numbers here. Ooh. Lucky numbers. Okay, we have number 93. Number 93, yes. 93. Number 7. Again, 7. We'll go again. 40. Number 40. So we had 93, 7, and 40. And we'll end with our Indigo Sage affirmation cards. I'm just going to flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says, number 17, evolutionary, artful love. Develop a great intuitive sensitivity of heart that is feather light. That is feather light. All right. I love it. I love it. So, Scorpio, I want to tell you I love you, because I do. And thank you so much for being here with me today. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. And other than that, again, I'm just going to say I love you. I love you. We'll talk again real soon. Take care of yourself. Good night.